Hello and welcome to Active's EU Tweets of the Week. Sweden and Finland want to enrol. On Northern Ireland is Bojo playing the troll. And to promote wind power, leaders go for a stroll. This episode is supported by FIAD, the European Waste Management Association. More about them later on. Wednesday was a historic day as Sweden and Finland handed in letters expressing their interest to apply for NATO membership. It's Finland's 32nd historic day in 2 weeks regarding NATO membership. Santa Claus tipped for top NATO job once Finland and Lapland join alliance, snarked Le Chou. But wait, not so fast, because Turkey and, depressingly predictably, Hungary are blocking, stalling and basically doing everything they can to disrupt the move, which is ironic, as Lindsay Snell points out, since Turkey was more than happy to support ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria. This episode is supported by FIAD, the European Waste Management Association. To what extent do innovation and digitalisation contribute to waste management and the achievement of the EU Green Deal? Join FIAD's Hybrid Biennial Conference on the 2nd of June to find out. Elsewhere, as news emerged that the UK plans to basically tear up the Northern Ireland Protocol agreed in the Brexit deal, Maros Šefčovič didn't mince his words, warning that if they do that, the EU will need to respond with all measures at its disposal. Cue trade war klaxon. Very clear breach of international law, but as it's a first offence, likely just a fixed penalty notice from Europol, Boris can put it with the rest, quipped Martini Seltzemeyer. But Dave Keating was incredulous. Boris Johnson's defence is that he hoped and believed that the EU wouldn't insist on enforcing the treaty he signed up to. Le Chou translated it as Boris Johnson finally gets around to actually reading the Northern Ireland Protocol, now realises how much his government has shit the bed. And Beth Rigby reported that apparently the phone call between Truss and Šefčovič was horrendous. One EU source, they'd seldom seen Šefčovič so cross and so upset. I've had constructive talks in Belfast where I made it clear that I don't give a toss about peace in Northern Ireland, but desperately want to pick a fight with the EU to please the rabid Brexiteer nutjobs in my party, tweeted a Boris Johnson parody account. Yeah, pretty much nail on the head right there. 94% of Express readers say they haven't got the Brexit they voted for, which is funny because they got exactly the Brexit the rest of us told them they would get, and they didn't listen, said a miffed parody Laura Kay account. Finally this week, the European Commission unveiled its RePowerEU campaign. And of course, a bunch of leaders rocked up to the North Sea to promote wind power and take their ties off, apparently. Laura Shields doffed a chapeau to today's trainees for their messaging. We are turbocharging what we were already doing instead of the green transition is being accelerated. The Commission wanted to call this the new power generation, but got a cease and desist from Prince's estate, snarked American EU dude, before adding that the real proposal to promote helium leaked slowly out of the Berlaymont yesterday, emitting a whistling sound and leading to a series of high-level talks. High level? Really? Really? According to Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, RePowerEU will drive the transition to clean energy by setting clear and high targets for renewable energy, removing bottlenecks to investments and leveraging and de-risking private investment. But who's going to pay for it? Asked France 24's Francois Picard. Alongside this thirsty image. Shh, Francois, this is Brussels. We don't ask that. That's it for another week. We're off next week, but do join me again soon for more snarks and larks in the Brussels bubble Twitter sphere.